welcome back, you beautiful people. That's a lot to get out in one sense. Happy Christmas season. You can see I'm very festive. Love that attitude. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who you think might be interested in the Real Collective podcast. Joined today by co-host Kyle Miller. As always, Kyle, how are you feeling? Are you festive? Are you excited?
You know what? I am festive. I don't dress festive. I had a meeting today, so I couldn't go all festive. But yes, I'm happy. I'm happy it's coming for sure. For sure.
By the time people are watching this video, it will have come and gone, but we'll be in that mid section. What's that called between Christmas and New Year's? That weird time of year?
Isn't it limbo?
Yeah.
Like you don't know if you should wake up, go to work, or just sleep all day and watch movies and drink Baileys. It's a weird spot.
Yeah. The second. You should do the second.
Definitely. 100%.
So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thanks very much for listening. You can schedule an appointment with Kyle or I in the calendar links below. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about what to do if you are leaving your house for the holidays. Let's say you're going up to the cottage, you're going skiing for a little getaway. Thinking more along the lines of the McAllisters. Everybody knows Home Alone, right? What do you do? What kind of booby traps do you set up? What do you do to make sure that your house is going to be safe while you're gone for, whatever it is, a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, a couple days, driving up to, grandpa's house, sleeping over at wherever you're sleeping over at? How do you make sure that your house is safe, protected, and, you don't get Marvin Harry breaking in, trying to steal all of your VCRs and whatnot?
I still want to know what Mr. McAllister did for work, because that's a big house. Like that mortgage would have had to suck. And then paying for 11 people to go to Paris. Like,
yeah, that's mob money. You didn't. He was an episode. He was in an episode of The Sopranos. Like the actor who played Mr. McAllister was in The Sopranos, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it is. That's Chicago mob money, right? That's where they live.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Yeah.
There's no way he's working a real job. Putting up that kind of cake. It's not happening.
Yeah, not like Mr. Griswold.
I think between those two, I think those are my two favorites. I just need my Christmas bonus, man. Like,
I can honestly say I think I might have watched that movie one time in my life.
Really?
I don't watch it. Chevy Chase, to me, I'm just like some people hate Nicolas Cage. Chevy Chase, I don't know, man. It's just something.
Just nails on a chalkboard for you, eh?
A little. I don't get it. I get the jokes and the pop culture references, but yeah.
I'll just say give it another chance. As watching it now as a grown man and seeing like the mental breakdown that this guy is going through, just trying to do something nice for his family and like bending over backwards and like I'm just relying on this one thing and then it doesn't come through, and just how he like literally flips his lid. Like the end of the movie is really like, oh, this is real. Like he is really like, yeah.
And it's actually so relevant to things that you see today online. Like when people are just talking about, I think on my sister's radio station, they were talking about like what your company does for you for Christmas, right? Or like there's a big thing on TikTok about that too, like what your company gives you for Christmas. Like everybody got a ham, but at 9 a.m. and no place to put them in the fridge. So like people were stuffing them outside. Like this was a story. They're putting them outside to stay cold, and then they forgot about them. So in the spring, there's just like hams like everywhere under the snow.
60 hams just melt.
Yeah, just completely. Yeah, but it makes sense. It's like those bonuses and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, but I digress.
Do you get anything? I don't get anything.
We're self-employed. Like I get a couple hours extra sleep some days. We'll see.
But I guess we get whatever we give ourselves.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think I might buy a shirt. We'll see.
Merry Christmas, self. You are.
You did all right, kid. You did all right. Yeah, exactly.
I think Kyle Miller Mortgages.
Actually, I think that actually might be a new post that just goes out. I'd like to thank myself for being Employee of the Year. Did a great job this year. Yeah, exactly.
Just do like a post game interview. Really give 100%.
Yeah, give 110%. Worked really hard. Everybody was there. Came in hot. And it's what we got to do every time. We're just going to do it again and again.
Yeah. 100, give it 110%. Just really, start off a little slow, but fix some of our mistakes, and came through in the end. And really, we're challenged by a couple of the challenges, but everybody dug deep and really gave it their all.
Yeah, wasn't perfect, but you know what? Team came together. We did all right.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you know what? I think one of our next ones will be a year in review, so we can use the same joke again. So getting your house ready for leaving. Are you going anywhere? Are you going away this winter at all?
Actually, it's very coincidentally enough, yeah. We head up. We're only going away for about 5 days. We head up north of Sudbury, because that's the best drive ever. But yeah, so we will actually be these people, but we have a deadly cat, so I'm pretty sure we're safe. Between the cat and the two fish, we'll be safe.
Are your fish gonna turn into like ninjas, like Teenage Mutant Ninja fish?
Yeah, wasn't it? It's Klaus from American Dad. Never seen that? He's the deadly fish.
Yeah. I think I have. I don't know it well, but yes. Okay, well there you go. You're all set. Is there anything in particular that you're thinking like, oh, better make sure that I do this when I go away? I mean, because we go to the cottage in the summer, and so like shutting down the house is a little bit different shutting it down in the summer versus shutting it down in the winter. Obviously, in terms of start off easy. What do you leave your temperature at?
Yeah, so I think that's the beauty of it these days, is that like fires are off, and then we've got a ring cam or whatever, one of the cameras on the doorbell, and then we've got the Nest, so we can set all that stuff before we go. And we're in a neighborhood, like there's a lot of close neighbors, so I'm not really worried about it. And the odd one knows, and they know our cars, they know my son's truck, and if he's there, he's there. If he's not, he's not, and no one else should be poking around. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing these days, is that tech is annoying, but it can be super useful, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, we don't have. We've got a camera on the front of our door, but our thermostat is just an old style thermostat. I feel like it's time to upgrade it to something like a smart thermostat, because
they're good. I will say they're good. Like I say I enjoy it, but it's like it's super useful. Super useful.
Are you the guy who sets the temperature? Are you the temperature guy in your house?
No, not at all.
Yeah, there.
No, I put a sweater on. I walk around in board shorts most of the time and bare feet. I'm just like, oh, it's chilly, and then that's it. Like, it doesn't matter to me.
So. I stopped wearing bare feet in the house. I started wearing Crocs in the house, like as my indoor like slippers. People wear slippers in the house. I wear Crocs in the house now. That's my move.
That's what you see. You hit an age, and you can do that.
Crocs and socks. That's me in the house.
Yeah. Like,
and 40. Watch out.
You have a mortgage. You have kids. What's your wife gonna do? Don't wear those? I'm like, come on. No.
She bought them for me. All right. So other ways to keep the house. We close our blinds, right? So like it sounds like your son's going to be like potentially coming and going. Ours is going to be full shutdown. So we'll be up at the cottage for a week, 5 days or so over the holidays. So we'll shut up. We'll close down shop. So we'll turn the temperature down, right? We'll bring it down to probably like, I don't know, I'm gonna say like 15. There's no point heating the house when no one's there. So bring the temperature down. Normally we're running at like 21, 22. Again, I'm not in control of the thermostat. That's what it's at. What am I gonna do?
Beach vacation every day in your house. Holy.
I should be in board shorts, not Crocs.
Seriously.
So we'll close the and then we do have an alarm system, so we turn the alarm on. There's different modes, right? There's stay mode and there's away mode. So we put it on away mode as opposed to at night we put it on stay mode. Make sure to lock all the doors, tell the neighbors, but yeah, that's about it. I don't. I debated leaving my son alone at home. He's right at that age, so he would have a lot of fun, but we kind of decided against it.
How old is he?
7.
Yeah, it's perfect. Perfect. If we would have done that too. We just leave the dog. Sorry, buddy. You're on your own.
Yeah. No, we take the dog with us. How do you can't leave a dog at home by itself?
No, with a 7-year-old. Be fine.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 7-year-old dog, you're good. Yeah. So
what about what do you guys do? So you said you have the like the doorbell camera.
Yeah.
And anything else?
No, that's it. Well, there's like sensors inside the house. So if when we put it on away mode, if a sensor goes inside the house, like if something moves inside the house when it's on away mode, it'll trigger the alarm. So
Yeah.
there's a sensor in like the top hall. There's two sensors by the basement windows, and then there's one in the front hall. So someone comes in and they're in one of the typical ways to get in, then that sensor is going to go off. The alarm is going to go off. So that's it. Nothing. I mean, nothing major. We've got insurance. I mean, we're not expecting. It's not like winterizing your cottage, right? Like we're not expecting the power to go out. We're not expecting anything. The weather looks like it's still going to be green all the time. So nothing really concerning there. It's a different story winterizing the cottage, right? Because then you're on the way out. You're like you're putting the antifreeze in the taps. You're bleeding all the taps, all that kind of stuff, right? That's different because I expect my power is going to go out there. It often does. So, but yeah, that's it.
What do you guys do in terms of, or suggest when, like, you guys are listing like a vacant place? Is it that different?
Yeah, vacant place. Sometimes they'll turn off the water. Sometimes the bank, you see a sticker over top of the toilet, right? Saying like,
Oh,
don't use the toilet, like don't pee here because the water's off. You won't be able to, flush. You'll just be looking at Mr. Hanky in
yeah,
the toilet, right?
yeah,
Nobody.
yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
So no, vacant places. Sometimes it comes down to a question of what the insurance company needs, right? So sometimes the insurance company will say, "Hey, I want someone to be there every 2 days or whatever." And we offer a service to our clients that says, "Hey, if you're out of town, you're selling a vacant property. Let's say it's an estate sale or someone is not close by, then we offer a service to our clients where we say, hey, we'll go to the property every 2 days and check on the box saying, yes, someone was here, right?
Hmm.
So there's that sort of service that we offer in terms of vacant properties. When people are showing a vacant property, I tell the seller, like, leave the lights on, leave everything like set up, leave it warm, leave it comfortable, especially in the winter time. You want someone to walk into a home and feel like warm, invited, like, hey, this is a good place for me and my family. I think that's important.
Yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. We have a cottage being built, so we'll have to get into that mode eventually. So,
Yeah. But you're building it to rent it out, yeah?
uh, cannot confirm.
Oh, sorry, got it. Yeah, you're building it to live there. Sorry, got it.
Yeah, cannot confirm.
Yeah.
We can
CRA.
talk about that. We can talk about that. We'll talk about that in the new year. We'll throw that down in the new year once it lands.
CRA, just don't watch this. Don't watch this
No,
video.
no, we're not gonna post. We're not gonna. Yeah, not gonna promote that part.
Out of 4 people who watch this video, as long as one of them's not CRA, we're good.
Yeah, or from the town we're in, but that's
Right.
fine.
Yeah, exactly. No, so I think I mean it's pretty straightforward, right? Yeah, when you shut down for the winter, do the things, make sure you close the garage door, park the cars inside. Some people say leave a light on or get a timer. You can get a little timer switch from from the hardware store, plug that in so that the light sort of goes on when you're not there in the evening. That little things like that. I think the hardware store timer is like $5. Like it's not a big deal, but it just sort of shows like, hey, yeah, someone's here, even if no one's actually there. Right.
Well, and again, so much stuff today. So much stuff today is just Bluetooth, Wi-Fi enabled. Like you can be connected to your house and not be connected to your house at all. I
Yeah.
can't. Where I go, there is no internet, so I'm rolling dice slightly. But this is my face that's worried. Like it's not that big of a deal. So,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. If you're going anywhere where there's Wi-Fi, there's nothing you can't do to
Yeah.
set it up.
Yeah,
Right?
it's crazy. I really have not smart homed my home at all, but like my dishwasher has Wi-Fi capability. I haven't set it up, but it's there, right? That's next level stuff that I'm not there yet. I think I could probably turn on my speakers remotely, like from somewhere else. Like we've got
Keep the dog, keep the dog happy.
yeah, exactly. So, all right, well, that is just about the halfway point at this. So we're just putting it together here for you guys. glad to know that there's hopefully a few little tidbits to pull away from this if you're going away for the holidays. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who you think might be interested in this high-level conversation. Stick around for the second half where we get into something even more exciting. We don't know what it's going to be yet, so you will soon see.
That surprise.
Wow. You can schedule an appointment with Kyle or I down below in the Calendly link. You can also download. Kyle has a buyer guide that you can download. I've got a listing seller guide that you can download, so you can download those below as well. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thank you so much. And we will catch you on the flip side.
This episode of the Real Collective podcast is brought to you by Real Collective. Real Collective brings together best-in-class real estate agents and collective experts in the field to deliver the best possible service to our clients. We govern ourselves with honesty, open-mindedness, and compassion. With diverse skill sets, our agents are able to better serve a wide array of clients, including first-time buyers, first-time sellers, transferees, estate sales, investors, and rural, vacation, and luxury properties. Authenticity and transparency are pillars of our process, which allows us to put our clients at the center of everything we do. Our years of experience and knowledge allow us to deliver prestigious service and optimal results. If you are interested in buying or selling your home, contact us today at realcollective.ca.
Welcome back, you beautiful people, to the second half of the Real Collective podcast. Sean Tasse, Kyle Miller, what's up? Christmas hat, Christmas vibe, really feeling festive. And my goodness, it just keeps seeming to roll. This is what we're finding, right? It's like there's business happening. People are still buying and selling. People are doing refis. They're getting their ducks in a row. They want to see houses. They want to look at stuff. Like, we just firmed up a deal today. I mean, granted, this is right before Christmas. This is we're recording this is Tuesday, the 19th of December. So we're recording a little bit early so that this can launch, a little bit deeper into the season. But yeah, it just still seems like we're working on stuff. Firmed up on one today that we sort of conditionally sold last week. They did their due diligence, their home inspection on Monday, yesterday, and came back flying colors. So that was a nice Christmas present for some friends of the channel. Elliot's one of my partners, and it's his sister-in-law and her husband's house that they just sold for him. So that was a nice little Christmas gift. Little, every time you on the listing side, if you get a sale done, you're like, okay, good, that's done, that's out of the way. Right now they can go and enjoy their Christmas. They're in their new house already, so it's timing worked out perfectly. What about you?
Yeah, same thing. It just, we're still seeing a lot of people, like, we're getting a few across the finish line, which is always interesting in December, because you just lose time, right? And it feels like a long time, but then there's holidays. And to be honest, the biggest thing about December is that lawyers shut down. So that's the biggest consideration when you're buying in December or doing anything in December, is who's the lawyer that's going to actually do this, because they usually shut down for the week. Some are midweek this week, some are going to be next week and in the first week in January. Like, that is actually the biggest question to ask, is who's going to close this deal. So we've had, not unfortunately, but just things have had to get pushed and changes made and things moved. So a lot of the communication has been, hey, we need to do it by this day, or like, it's not happening, right? And the lawyers are they're strong on that. Like, I find myself lots of times where I'm like, I grab stuff on weekends, I grab stuff late at night, because I'm like, I know this is super important, we got to get it done. And I'm not talking bad about lawyers. It's just they have a real good way of just being like, nope, because it just opens the floodgates. If we do it for one, we're going to do it for all, and then you never end, right? So it's yeah, that's really what's going on now. And then the fixed rates have started to drop, which are getting people's minds going again. It's coming to the forefront.
I think we've got kind of a perfect storm coming in, and we've been talking about this leading up to it, right? That the sellers that are still on the market are desperate, not desperate, but like some are desperate to sell, right? Hey, I want to get out of this. I'm sick of property's vacant. I don't want it anymore, whatever. At the same time, the fixed rates are coming down. At the same time, there's talk about them coming down, the variable rates coming down in the future. So people are like, yeah, let's go. Like, let's get going on this. We're buying now. A lot of people are thinking like, this is the best time to be buying right now, right? We might look back at this time of year, be like, hey, yeah, December 2023, that was the bottom. That was your chance, right? That's the highest that we're going to see rates. This is your chance. And people are like, some people I think who are, smart about it are like, yeah, this is the chance to do it. This is when you should be buying, right? Don't wait a year, because So I'm saying this. So of course we've got people who are out there buying. We've got we just put a conditional sale together last week. It firms up on the 27th of this month. So
which basically means this Friday.
Here's the thing. So the lawyers, we've got in-house lawyers here who are just up the hall, and they're working all through the holidays. So that's really nice for us. But yeah, it could be Friday. We're doing our home inspection on Thursday. The mortgage looks like it's pretty close to being put together, and it's a single family house, so those are the only two conditions. So yeah, we might be firm by the time Friday rolls around. Might be later, might be push until the 27th. Well, who knows? We'll see. But yeah, it's busy. You had a few that you had to stick handle. You were talking about yesterday, eh?
Yeah, there's just and sometimes this stuff, sometimes it just happens, right? Because that's the other thing too, is you get people who go away on vacation. So, yes, we're dealing with one person typically who's taking the documents and looking, whether that's my assistant or even at the underwriting level at the lender. And they'll say, okay, I've done all the work, I've got all this ready. And someone else covers for them, and that's fine. And we have coverage so people can go away. But there's always that thing of yeah, but this one person's touched every piece of paper and knows exactly what's going on. And we get Friday afternoon, we're waiting for money to move the way it's supposed to, and just need a quick statement to say, yeah, it's there, it's the way it works. And then all of a sudden, like, well, we don't know, like, we missed it, or we don't have this. Where is it? It's like, well, ask the person. Well, she's away. Like, well, let me ask my person. Well, she's away. It's like, oh, now we got coverage who are asking each other. And you're like reopening the deal last minute, right? Yeah. So it becomes, that can happen. And at the end of the day, it's again, it's just another part of the communication, right? Go back, look through it, and literally after a phone call, an email, and another email, it's done. All the panic and all the stress is fixed in 2.5 minutes of work. So It's just the way it's the way sometimes it can happen. It's not fun, but it closed today. It's supposed to. It's good. So they're going to be in their house for Christmas, and that's what they wanted.
Home for Christmas. That's good. That's the way to do it. What do we have on the go? We've got another deal that it seems like we're going to write the conditional sale for it today, and the way it's written, once it gets accepted, is that it will be firm by the 29th of December. So we'll have one that's due to firm up by the 27th, another one that's due to firm up by the 29th. There's another listing that we have that we're expecting to receive an offer on today. And then I've got another client who said, hey, you know what? I want to submit an offer unconditional for this home. I said, okay. He's like, I'm going to go and do the appraisal for it. I'm going to pay the appraisal fee, and I'm going to get the appraisal in and done. I said, okay, that's fine. You're going to give yourself a lot better flexibility with like the strength of your offer, being able to submit an unconditional offer. Because he's like, look, it's listed for this price. I want to buy it for this. I'm like, okay, well, if you want to do it, you got to be unconditional. He's like, well, the only way I can go unconditional is if I go and do my appraisal in advance. I'm like, look, if you buy it for the price that's below the listing price that you wanted to, you won't have any issue with appraisal, I think. But, right, you were telling me about another one that the appraisal came back and was like 90 grand less than what it was supposed to be. Like, how does that happen in this market? Like, what are we missing?
There's just pockets that act different, right? Like, it's not a feeling. Like, you don't get to say, right, well, I think it's worth this, right? The appraiser goes in and has a list of criteria based on the lender, right? Coincidentally enough, we were doing a session today, and my appraiser was in talking to some realtors, and my appraiser was in, and he was telling them, he's like, look, Scotiabank tells me they want comparables in this box. And then other lenders say, well, you can go as far as this box. And if you have to go outside of that, well, then you have to justify it. because it's their license and it's their insurance on the line, and the appraiser. So it's just we can throw out an estimate, but the data tells it. So he was telling a story how that he was doing an appraisal for somebody, and that client said, well, my neighbor sold for like $1,050,000, and he's like, nope. He's like, unless you can show me something, that didn't happen, because one, it's not listed anywhere. So if it was private, okay, fine, but get me a can you get me a purchase and sale agreement? Can you get me something from the lawyer? Can you get me anything other than your neighbor who just said, well, I sold for this, right? Because that doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
So that's what happened. That neighborhood's just hit a lull. And in the last 3 months, not a lot of properties have moved. And the ones that did, that made sense, were at this price range. And and the price we thought it was at are really only for brand new homes. This one's like 16 years old. Not old, just it's not brand new. So just the way it works, and that's it. It works out. It wasn't a stretch. I mean, the deal still does what we need it to do, and that's the point. So, it sucks, but it's not going to kill anything, and we're okay.
But yeah, fair enough. So yeah, 16 years old is getting close to the end of the life cycle for the roof and for the furnace, and so like all those things add up. Plus also the style. 16 years old versus brand new, it's a different thing, and buyers want that new, right? They want that HGTV. That's what they're willing to pay for. So I mean, nothing really you can do about that. When you said they want to work inside of a box, do you mean like a geographic box, or do you mean like a criteria box?
No, sorry, criteria, right? They'll say, hey, I want to see three sales of a house of homes in the last 90 days, right? And then if they can't find that, they have to go outside of that. Like my neighborhood's a perfect example. I don't think I've seen less than 5 for sale signs in the 11 years I've lived there.
What?
So, yeah, like it's an older community. People aren't moving, right? There's not a lot of kids. There's no kids on our street, barely any kids on our street. It's just an older community and these houses. So there will be a churn at some point, but other than that, it's not happening. So that's a tough part, right? Is what are you comparing to?
Yeah.
Versus you go to Barhaven, for example, and there's 1,000 houses and 1,000 have sold, and okay, it's pretty easy, So it's the criteria.
We always use Barhaven as our point. House in Barhaven is the average price home. You want to find an average price home? Go get yourself a townhouse. Yeah, man. Our neighborhood is like yours was, I guess, probably, but like 10 or 20 years ahead of schedule, because we can start to see all the young families moving in. And it's a lot of big houses in our neighborhood, right? So like big family houses, 4-bedroom plus. And so you start to see a lot of young families. Hey, we want this space. We don't want to be, in the suburbs. We want to be more centralized in the city, but we still want the ability to take the space we want, right? The square footage on the inside of the house. So that's what you're starting to see, I think, in our neighborhood is a real turnaround. And we talk to all the families, like we do like a, get together, and all the families get together or whatever in the park and do a. And everybody's saying like, oh my goodness, I can't believe how many kids are at Halloween, and how many, like over the last 5 years, it really has, turned a corner into being a different type of neighborhood than I guess it was. I mean, look, we've only been there for 3-4 years, right? So we're the exact demographic of those people. So yeah, it's fun. It's a good gig. But yeah, I guess as far as the market right now, just to sort of put a ribbon or a bow on this, wrap it up like a present. It's good. It's busy. Like it's busier than I expected for December. At the same time, Amanda, our client care coordinator, reminds me often that we're always busy in December. Like we tend to finish strong in our group, in the collective. So
well, I think it's becoming that thing too of, and I've spoken to other agents about it, where they're like a bunch of listing appointments, right? So this is on people's minds in Ottawa right now, right? For sure. And I think it's prepping for, which is good. Like if you want to be in the market, yeah, getting ready is it. If you think, well, we're going to get ready for spring, I got to think you'd agree, but we're getting ready now because we got 3 months to clean it up. We got to paint and do the things, right? And it's one more thing to just kind of think about over Christmas. But if we get some of that down, then plan to set the goal for January and let's rock and roll, right? And you're not starting behind the eight ball, not starting behind the eight ball. And if something happens earlier, great. And if it doesn't, whatever. But it's definitely on people's minds. I hope that's a positive thing in terms of like, we're not seeing people that are getting prepped because they're struggling. Some probably are, but for the most part, I'm hoping it's a positive thing, and people are looking to that in the spring market.
That's a good segue into the next podcast. We'll talk a little bit about, why now, why to prep now, all that sort of thing. But we'll dive into that in the second one. Until then, it goes, as always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who you think might be interested in watching me wear a Santa Claus costume and trying to do so in a semi-professional manner. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thank you so much for your ears. If you're watching on YouTube, you can click that Calendly link below to schedule that listing appointment that Kyle is talking about with me, or a conversation about your mortgage, which 46% of you will be due over the next 2 years. As we've spoken about in the past, you can book that appointment with Kyle to talk about the renewal of your mortgage and how you might be able to save a little bit of money, because that's what everybody needs to do this time of year, is save some money, because we're spending way too much. And if you'd like to buy a house, click the link below. You can download Kyle's buyer guide. If you're hoping to sell your house, click that link below and you can have a look at the seller guide that the Real Collective has put out. And after that long-winded outro, until the next time, keep it real.
Collective.